is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? The NFL draft is right around the corner, and I am your host, Richie, live here on Bleacher Report. Let's get into it on Jez Media. The NFL draft is coming up, folks. It is a week from tomorrow, all right? I am really fired up right now to talk about what you need to know heading into the NFL draft for the New York Jets. We're going to talk about all the prospects in this show. Make sure you guys download the Bleacher Report app. If you're not already on the Bleacher Report app, that is where all of the fun is. And we're live on YouTube at the same time, so I want to make sure if you're on YouTube, make sure you come over to Bleacher Report. That is where the real fun is. I'm going to put the link right now in the live chat, so make sure you guys come through to Bleacher Report and support everybody over there. Download the Bleacher Report app and do all those fun things. Let's get straight into it, because you think about the New York Jets heading into this year's draft, there's a lot of different ways you can look at it, right? It is the first time Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji has an opportunity to kind of show who they are as the New York Jets head coach and their new general manager, right? Last year, going into the draft, we kind of had an idea where they're going to go, because it's the fifth draft of Joe Douglas's career last year, or fourth or fifth, something like that. But this is Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn's first opportunity to get their fingerprints on this football team. Now, they brought in a lot of free agents, so that's really the new Jets we could expect. But when it comes to the draft, that's when you can really dive deep into the type of players that this Jets regime is going to try to bring in. And that seventh overall pick is very controversial amongst Jets fans, because it seems like it's narrowed down to three prospects. Of course, these are just reports. We don't really know exactly where this regime is going to go exactly just yet. But I feel like based off all the people that, I'm hearing and talking to, it seems like there's really just three guys this New York Jets team is going to draft with the seventh overall pick. Could they trade down? Potentially, absolutely. Could they even trade up? I don't know. I'm not going to rule that out. Absolutely not. So I feel like at the end of the day, you look at what this Jets team is all about. They're trying to bring in culture guys. This is what it's all about. Shout out to everybody tuning into the chat right now on Bleach Report. I see you guys, because the Jets draft class is coming up, and I'm really excited, man, because that seventh overall pick, I'm going to put up a poll right now in the chat on Bleacher Report, because I feel like if there's three options for the Jets at pick number 7, I think it's between these three, and it's Tyler Warren, Armand Membou, and Will Campbell. All right? And I feel like those are the options for this Jets football team at the 7th overall pick. Could they go a different direction? Absolutely. And I think it's really down to Armand Membou and Tyler Warren between those two guys. And Jets fans have been debating about this for months and months and months. The Jets did not really bring in anybody at the tight end position to be excited about. They did not bring in a right tackle to be excited about in free agency. And those are two big holes. And Armand Membou has skyrocketed up draft boards the entire draft process. And I feel like he is somebody that could solidify this offensive line. Tyler Warren can fill in a huge hole at the tight end position as well. Now, some people are mentioning Ashton Genty's name with the New York Jets. I'm more of a Breece Hall fan than others. We got Braylon Allen. We got Isaiah Davis. I'm not going to really look at Ashton Genty as an opportunity for the Jets to go after a running back, personally. I don't know, but this is a new regime. If there was somebody on this Jets team that has some value from a trade perspective, it is Breece Hall entering a contract year, but I'm someone that would prefer not to trade Breece, because I still think he has not lived up to his expectations yet with the previous Jets regime. The offensive line has been a mess. The scheme, the offensive line coach, everything has been a mess. So I feel like keeping Breece Hall here and having him run an offense with Olu Fashanu at left tackle, Joe Tippmann another year getting comfortable, AVT, John Simpson, Braylon Allen, his running mate, Justin Fields being a running threat at the quarterback position. I would not want to give up Breece Hall. But if the Jets do want to go that direction and get Ashton Genty here, that would be a crazy move, that the first draft pick of this Jets team is going to be Ashton Genty. I'm not going to say that's going to happen. But I'm going to put up a poll right now in the live chat for Bleacher Report, so you guys can vote. Who do you want the Jets to draft in the first round? Because if you guys did not know, Bleacher Report is going to have an epic live stream tomorrow at 4 p.m. EST. It's going to be a full mock draft with every single creator across Bleacher Report, and I'm going to be representing the New York Jets with that 7th overall pick. So I want to get your guys' thoughts about who you want the Jets to get. Who do you want the Jets to draft at pick 7. And you guys can let me know in the chat right now on Bleacher Report. Remember, guys, come over to Bleacher Report. This is where the fun is. The Jets can trade up. They could trade down. All right. At pick 7. Just putting up this poll right now so we can keep track of where the chat wants the Jets to go and Darren Muji. Because I think the big debate is playmaker or offensive line. I feel like that's been a big debate between Jets fans, even last year, right? And you look at what the Jets were debating last year. It was Brock Bowers or it was somebody else, the offensive line. And the Jets decided to go after the offensive lineman in Olu Fashanu. And I feel like going after Olu Fashanu, that is giving the Jets more flexibility now to go after Tyler Warren this year, right? That's how I look at it. So the 4 guys I'm going to put in the poll is going to be Tyler Warren, Ashton Jeanty, Will Campbell, and Armand Membou. So you guys can vote right now in the poll. It is live, and we're definitely going to keep an eye on this poll right now because I feel like I want the chat to speak. I want the chat to speak, man. So I'm going to just add their positions and get a little more official here. And now the poll is live. All right, so you guys can make your presence known right now in the live chat. Who do you want the Jets to go after in the first round at pick number 7? Now, if there's another player that's not on the poll, let me know in the chat because I put Tyler Warren, Armand Membou, Will Campbell, and Ashton Jeanty. I think it's going to be between these 4. Now, I will add another guy. And you can't add more than 4 people. It is Mason Graham from Michigan. Defensive tackle could also be an option for the New York Jets. They actually are visiting him. They had him in for a visit, I believe, yesterday or sometime this week. So if Mason Graham is available at 7, don't count out him being an opportunity for the New York Jets. But I do not think he's going to be available at pick number 7, which is why I did not really put him in the poll. I don't think he's going to be available for the Jets. I think he's going to go probably to the Jacksonville Jaguars at pick 5. I think if there was somewhere that he's going to land before the Jets, that's where he could end up. Maybe even Vegas if they want to beef up the offensive line. They pick right before the New York Jets. So Mason Graham could definitely be another option here. But I feel like the poll is live right now here on Bleacher Report, and I'm definitely curious to get your guys' thoughts of where you guys think the Jets could go in the first round of the NFL Draft. If there's anybody else, Ted McMillan, I don't really think McMillan is going to be an option for the Jets. I really do not think so. I really think it's going to come down to Tyler Warren and Armand Membou. And there's so much debate between Jets fans about this. And I think you are, oh man, I'm down for either or. Yeah, you could sell me on the idea of Tyler Warren. You can sell me on the idea of Armand Membou. Now, Will Campbell, I don't really think that's somebody I would want the Jets to go after personally, because he's more of a left tackle. He could be a guard, right? He's not really a pure right tackle. Like, if you're going to go offensive line, definitely go with Armand Membou, man, because he's somebody that can absolutely solidify the offensive line for the foreseeable future. Absolutely. And you talk about a rock at right tackle, getting offensive tackle in back-to-back drafts in the first round. You are solidifying the offensive tackle position for the next 5+ years. Olu Fashanu and Armand Membou, I'm down for that. But then on the other side of things, Tyler Warren is such a dynamic player. Such a dynamic player right now. And I'm excited about that. I really, really am excited about him as an option. I really am. And I think that if you're a Jets fan and you look at the opportunity of solidifying the tight end position in the first round, that is awesome. Now, you look at some targets in the second round for the Jets. I think based on who they like in the second round is going to tell them who they think they're going to go after in the first round, if that makes any sense. So I think that there's no other player in this draft that is capable of living up to the talent of Tyler Warren. Absolutely not. I love the tight end class behind him, but nobody can block and receive like him. Nobody is that dual threat. I'm going to call even him a triple threat. Usually you don't call a tight end that a dual threat, right? That's usually the quarterback. You can throw, you can run. But Tyler Warren can block. He can run routes. He can catch at an efficient level. He's got a catch radius that's ridiculous. He can also run the ball out of the backfield. I mean, you turn on the tape of Tyler Warren, you see him play the quarterback position as a wildcat quarterback and take the ball 50 yards to the house. I mean, this guy is very unique. You're not going to get a lot of players like him coming out of the draft for the foreseeable future. And I feel like why not get another dynamic weapon for Justin Fields? Because I feel like this offensive line can be very good, even if the right tackle position is not the greatest, because how much I believe in the 4 offensive linemen they have solidified in Olu at left tackle, Simpson at left guard, Tippmann at center, AVT at right guard. Now, the one thing I want to remind everybody about this offensive line is, as much as we love Olu and Tippmann, both of our starting guards are on contract years. So there's no long-term with AVT or Simpson yet. And I don't think the Jets are going to extend both of them. So maybe the Jets go Will Campbell and they want to kick him inside at guard down the line. I don't know. Maybe they're looking after a guard in the mid-rounds to be a starter down the line, sit and learn behind Simpson or AVT. Preferably, I would like to lock up Elijah Vera-Tucker long-term, and maybe you let John Simpson walk, and then you draft your left guard for the future in this year's draft class in day 2 or even day 3 if they can hit home. We should testing. Testing, we're back. Hey, we are back. Apologies there. The Wi-Fi just cut out on me. I think we're back. You guys let me know if you can hear me. All right. I think we are back. Chat, let me know if you can hear me, because the Wi-Fi just went out, but I am back. Okay, I am back with you guys. I appreciate the patience. Apologies for that, but we're back. Listen, the chat has spoken. So we're going to let the poll die and maybe put up a new poll later on in the show, because I think it seems like it's between Warren and Membu with that 7th overall pick. So maybe we will look after the poll later on in the show. All right. Shout out to the chat for letting me know you can hear me. Listen, there's so many different directions the Jets can go in the NFL draft. Now, when you look at what this Jets team is going to do in the first round, I think that's we kind of have an idea where they're going to go. But is there a draft? Is there a trade? Is there a trade looming? And I definitely want to get your guys' thoughts about that. Is there a trade coming for the New York Jets? It's definitely possible. I think a trade down is definitely likely. Absolutely. It is 100% likely for this Jets team to trade down. And I don't know, and I'm not just saying I picked 7. I think trading down in round 2, I think trading down in round 3 is an option for the Jets. There's a lot of options for this Jets football team to trade down. And I'm not ruling out any trade down, because you look at what this Jets team is going to want to do. They're going to want to get a lot of players, because when you have a new regime like the Jets have in Aaron Glenn and like they have in Darren Mooney, they're going to want to get a lot of their own guys. And I think that's something to really keep in mind here of what this Jets football team is going to try to do, is get their type of guys. So trading down to get more draft picks is definitely a possibility. But you look at what this Jets team needs in terms of where is the roster constructed, where are the strengths, where are the weaknesses. A big weakness, a big hole on this Jets roster that I think not a lot of people are even talking about is the wide receiver position next to Garrett Wilson. It seems like Allen Lazard is staying put with the Jets at this point. You brought in Tyler Johnson in free agency. You brought in Josh Reynolds, right? You got Malachi Corley, but is there really anybody else outside of them that we feel confident in to be a guy to be excited about next to Garrett Wilson? So watch out for the Jets to maybe go after a wide receiver early. Now, I don't think they're going to go after a wide receiver in the first round, but they could in round number 2. Jaden Higgins is a guy that I really like. Jalen Noel, both of them from Iowa State. Alan Lazard was also from Iowa State, by the way. And Breece Hall. So I think the second round targets for the Jets are intriguing. They can go tight end. And I think the second round for the Jets it's hard to tell where they're gonna go in the second round, because you got to see who they get in the first round first, right? If they go Tyler Warren in the first round, I think offensive tackle's on the board in the second round. If they go Armand Membu in round number 1, I think an offensive tackle's on the board for the Jets in round 2. Now, defensive tackle is a really interesting spot for the Jets, because you look at what this Jets team needs. The defensive tackle position is another hole, and you can argue that the defensive tackle position is one of the best we've seen in this year's draft. It's really deep. You can get a defensive tackle in the second round and be very, very happy, even in the third round. And I think that's something that you got to be able to take advantage of for this Jets football team. And I'm really excited to see them go after some defensive tackles. And I feel like there's a lot of guys that the Jets are doing their homework on. And I feel like at the end of the day, there's a lot of guys. Now, in the second round, there's a lot of guys. Jaden Higgins, like I mentioned. Mason Taylor, the tight end from LSU, is a guy that I absolutely love. Wide receiver Kyle Williams is another guy to watch out for the Jets in day number 2. Offensive tackle Ozzie Trapillo is another guy that you can watch the Jets go after on day number 2. They've had Omar Norman Lott, the Tennessee defensive tackle, in for a visit. Right? The Jets are doing a lot of homework on these guys. Virginia Tech wide receiver Daquan Felton was on a virtual visit with the New York Jets. Ole Miss edge Princey Uman Million, as well as a guy that could be on the Jets' radar. Miami tight end Elijah Ororo. Like, there's so many guys that this Jets football team could be going after. Now, one defensive tackle that I really love, I was at the Senior Bowl this year, and he absolutely lit it up at the Senior Bowl. It's Toledo's defensive tackle, Darius Alexander. He came in for a pre-draft visit with this New York Jets team, and he is someone I really, really like. He's a big body, and imagining him next to Quinnen Williams is getting me a little bit fired up. I ain't going to lie with you guys. So Darius Alexander, watch out for him. I don't know if they're going to be able to get him. He may be a first-round pick, so that would have to be a little tough for the Jets to land him later on in the second round if he's there. That is an absolute no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer if that's the case. Jack Beck, the wide receiver from TSU, another Senior Bowl star. He could be an option for the Jets. I mean, there's so many guys for this Jets football team to go after in the mid-rounds. But I feel like for the New York Jets, in day number 2 and day number 3, it really comes down to it. Now, one player the Jets have been keeping tabs on that I think is interesting, that it has to be a first-round pick, Shamar Stewart. I would be shocked if the Jets went after Shamar Stewart, because we have Jermaine Johnson, we have Will McDonald on the edge, first-round talents. I would be shocked if they went that direction. I really, really would. But at the end of the day, you never know. You never know. Now, Rich Cimini had something interesting to say a few days ago. And he said, quote, with 11 days to go before the draft, the top candidates for the Jets are tackle Will Campbell, tackle Armand Membu, and tight end Tyler Warren, right? This is based on conversations with league sources. This is per ESPN's Rich Cimini. So it does feel like it's coming down to those 3 guys, and that's not shocking to some. I think that's really the most likely scenario. And I feel like at this point, you got to flip a coin. We're flipping a coin, Jets fans, because I got no idea. If you look at this Jets team, I got no idea where they're going to go at that spot, because this is a brand new regime. I would have to assume, man, like, there's a difference of who I want and who I think is going to be the pick at pick 7. Like, I really do think the trenches are on the table here, because the idea of solidifying the offensive line is right in front of your face. It's right in front of your face if you're the Jets. Because I think a mock draft that I've been doing recently, getting Armand Membu in the first round, and then going after Jalen Noel and Mason Taylor in the mid-rounds, like, I really do like that as an opportunity for this Jets team. Now, one thing that I feel like some Jets fans have been wondering, Are the Jets going to draft a quarterback? Are the New York Jets going to draft a quarterback? They've been linked to Jackson Dart's Ole Miss quarterback for quite some time, but there's a lot of buzz around him where I do not think he's going to go to the New York Jets. I think there's teams that are a little bit more desperate at the quarterback position. The Jets, of course, signed Justin Fields in free agency, so I don't think that the Jets are really going to be aggressive at the quarterback position. If they get a quarterback, I think it's going to be more like in the mid-rounds, like a Kyle McCord, Tyler Show, Riley Leonard, those type of guys, Will Howard. But I don't know if that's the direction that the Jets are going to go. It seems like they really believe in Justin Fields. It seems like they want him to be their guy. They want Justin Fields to be the franchise quarterback to start off this brand new regime with this Jets team with Aaron Glenn. And you heard Aaron Glenn talk about Justin Fields. It feels like they all believe that he could be the guy. It really does feel like that. And I'm not going to sit here as a Jets fan and hype him up thinking that, I think Justin Fields is going to be a franchise quarterback for the next 5-10 seasons. Right? There's a lot more that needs to be shown here to me before I'm absolutely going to be hyping up Justin Fields to do just that. Someone in the chat on Bleacher Report says, do you think the Jets made a mistake with Olu instead of Bowers? Absolutely not. I think they hit a home run with that pick. Now, listen, Brock Bowers, great player for the Raiders. Absolute stud. Nothing about Brock Bowers being a bad player. He's a great player for the Raiders. He's going to be one of the better tight ends in football for the next few seasons. But Olu Fashanu, what he did last year in his limited sample size, he looked like a veteran out there at left tackle. And go look at the left tackle market in the offseason this year. Do you know how hard it is to get a left tackle in this league right now? The left tackle position is way more valuable than the tight end position. That's how I look at it. I'd rather have a solidified franchise left tackle in Olu Fashanu than a playmaking franchise tight end in Brock Bowers. That's how I look at it. And I also think that gives the New York Jets flexibility to be able to draft Tyler Warren now. That's how I look at it. So, no, I do not think the Jets made a mistake of going with Olu instead of Bowers. I was on the train last year of getting a left tackle to sit and learn behind Tyron Smith. And I think the draft pick of Olu Fashanu was so intelligent that now he had a whole year to watch Tyron Smith, one of the greatest left tackles of this generation. Now we may have our own Tyron Smith on our hands. Now, I know that's really big shoes to fill of Olu to be able to be the next Tyron Smith here because he's a Hall of Famer. But Olu has all the talent in the world to be one of the better left tackles in football if he can stay healthy. And now that was his issue last year. He played great when he was on the field, but when he was not on the field, that's concerning. He had a foot injury that sidelined him at the end of the season. So let's hope Olu can stay healthy. So I do not think that was a bad pick by the New York Jets whatsoever. You guys let me know your thoughts. Do you think that was a bad pick? Because I definitely do not think so. I do not think that was a bad pick. Absolutely not. And I do feel like going best player available is definitely what the Jets are going to do. I feel like there's a big disposition and narrative around just the NFL draft in general. Do you go after the best player available, or do you go after a position of need? And in the first round, I agree. You draft the best player available. Whoever's on your board as your best player on the board when you're on the clock, that's who you draft. Now, of course, if the best player on your board is at a position that you have, you're maybe not going to do that. But you got to draft best player available if you're the Jets. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. The Jets have met with Quinn Ewers like 3 or 4 times. I think we draft him late. That's definitely a possibility. I do think the Jets are going to get a quarterback. I really, really do. I think Quinn Ewers is an interesting guy that the only way you can sell me on Quinn Ewers is if it's really in the late rounds, like round 5 or something like that, or later, or maybe round 4. But I feel like Quinn Ewers, there's nothing wrong with drafting a QB late, because when you get into day 3 and you're in round 5, 6, or 7, like those are darts. Those are just, you're throwing a dart, hopefully one lands. Majority of these guys don't make it in the league. The best teams in the league, though, are the ones that hit home runs in rounds 5 and round 6. For example, the Jets hit a home run in Jamie Sherwood. He was a 5th round pick, I believe, out of Auburn. Maybe 6th round, but I think it was a 5th round pick from Joe Douglas's first draft or second draft, coming out of Auburn. He was a safety turned linebacker. The Jets developed him, and now he got paid the big bucks. And now, look, he is with the Jets long term. Like, that's hitting a home run. Michael Carter II, another player the Jets drafted in the mid-rounds. That was a great pick, and now he is a long-term slot corner for the New York Jets. So there is some examples with this Jets team drafting well in day 3, but they definitely got to prove themselves this year with Darren Muji that they're capable of doing that. They're capable of doing that, going after somebody in rounds 3 that's going to stick and land, right? There's a lot of guys that you can link to the Jets in the late rounds. Jalen Reed, the safety from Penn State, is someone I would like the Jets to look at on day 3. Dante Thornton, wide receiver from Tennessee, is another guy you can look at for the Jets in the mid rounds. There's so many guys. Ty Felton from Maryland is another guy. Mitchell Evans, tight end from Notre Dame, you can go after. If Colin McCord is there, that's another quarterback I'd like to take in the mid-rounds. R.J. Mickens, safety from Clemson. C.J. West, Indiana, defensive. I mean, there's a lot of guys that the Jets can go after in the mid-rounds, but you guys let me know. Is there anybody else that you would like? Now, a safety that the Jets did visit with is very intriguing, is the Notre Dame safety, Jordan Clark, who I believe is the son of Ryan Clark. And I think Ryan Clark and Aaron Glenn have a relationship. I remember Ryan Clark's podcast, they had Aaron Glenn on it. They talked a lot while he was with the Lions. And Ryan Clark and Aaron Glenn, they played together in the same generation. I don't think they're ever teammates, but obviously they come from the same era of football. Could Aaron Glenn be drafting his son? I don't know. I'm not going to say just because they're friends, but we shall see. My man asked, can you talk about the secondary? Yeah, I mean, the Jets secondary is interesting. The Jets actually have the tallest cornerback duo in the league. Sauce Gardner, Brandon Stevens are the tallest corners in the league as a duo. You got MC2 in the slot, who's coming off a down year for his standards. You got Andre Sisco, and I think the next safety next to Andre Sisco is going to come in the NFL draft. I think that's what the Jets' philosophy is going to be, and I absolutely think that is what it's going to be. I think the Jets are going to go after a safety somewhere in the mid-rounds, and he's going to start next to Andre Sisco, and we have Sauce Gardner. And by the way, big shout-out to Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson, because both of them are representing the New York Jets right now at the offseason program. Now, these are not mandatory workouts. Sauce and Garrett Wilson could easily be sitting out right now and saying, we don't want to be here. We want a contract. But no, they're franchise players. Those are guys that you want to invest in long-term, Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. So I think that the Jets are in good hands with those two, but you definitely got to extend them both. So I think there's a lot of different scenarios the Jets can go in the NFL draft, and I think the secondary is a position of need at the safety. You can argue corner is another need behind Brandon Stevens. There's no one really to be excited about. Brandon Echols walked in free agency. We re-signed Isaiah Oliver, but I don't know. I don't really trust him. Coming in the secondary, the Jets are going to draft for sure. And I think that you look at this Jets team, another position is linebacker. They brought in Jamin Davis in free agency, but you got Jamian Sherwood, you got Quincy Williams, you still got Chaz Surratt. Or is Chaz Surratt not on the Jets anymore? I feel like there's some guys. Yeah, Chaz Surratt was more of a solid guy. I don't know if he's going to make this Jets team. But on the offensive side of the ball, that's where my concerns are the most. You got to get Justin Fields weapons to work with. You got to get him another weapon. And I think Jalen Knoll is my favorite for the Jets to target in the mid-rounds. I also love Tez Johnson out of Oregon, but I know that his stock kind of plummeted a little bit after his 40-yard dash. There's a lot of guys that you can argue that the Jets could target at the wide receiver position. So that's exciting that I think the Jets have an opportunity here to draft a really dynamic playmaker in the mid-rounds. But my final prediction, right, and don't forget, on Bleacher Report tomorrow, there's going to be a 3-hour epic live show on the Bleacher Report app. It's going to be a full creator NFL mock draft, all right? And I'm going to be representing the Jets with the 7th overall pick. And right here, I'll tell you, if it's Tyler Warren or Armand Membu on the board when I'm on the clock at pick 7, woo, that's going to be a tough decision. So I'm not going to spoil where I'm going to go now, you're going to have to tune in tomorrow to see my pick. But listen, I am definitely going to pick one of those two guys. That's what I will say right here. I'm going to be drafting either Tyler Warren or Armand Membu with my 7th overall pick tomorrow in the Bleacher Report NFL Creator Mock Draft. Maybe I'm giving away my stuff here, but I don't think any other creators watching this on Bleacher Report, right? Maybe I'm giving away too much. But hey, man, thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Richie Malore, live here on Bleacher Report. Really do appreciate you guys tuning in on the Bleacher Report app. Make sure you guys download Bleacher Report if you're not already, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the NFL Creator Mock Draft. Woo! Can't wait. Peace out, folks, on Bleacher Report. All right. We are done on Bleacher Report. Now we're live on YouTube. Want to give a big shout out to everybody in the live chat on YouTube. Just so you guys know, when I'm live on Bleacher Report, I'm also live on YouTube at the same time, and I can't really get interactive with you guys on YouTube because I'm really looking at the Bleacher Report app. So we just ended the show on Bleacher Report, so I wanted to just say before we wrap it up here on YouTube, I appreciate you guys tuning in here on YouTube because this is where it all starts. So hit that like button, folks, and I love you guys. Just a reminder, I am still away on vacation in Costa Rica, so I will be home on Saturday, and then I'm going to be in Green Bay for the draft, which is going to be fun. But definitely stay tuned for tomorrow because that is where the real fun starts for the NFL Creator Mock Draft. Love you guys so much. Hit that like button on your way out, and let's go Jets. Peace, folks.